Welcome to the Deep Dive. I'm your host, and yeah, really thrilled to be back with my brilliant co-pilot for this journey.
Hello, everyone. It is fantastic to be here again, ready to tackle another, well, really interesting topic.
Yeah.
It really feels like every other week there's some new health headline, right? A new secret or the latest diet craze.
Oh, absolutely.
It can be pretty overwhelming just trying to sort through it all, figure out what's actually helpful.
It really can. Like navigating a maze, honestly. So much information, so many promises. But that, listener, is exactly why we're here. We want to cut through that noise. Today, we're diving deep into something that stirred up a lot of buzz. And maybe, yeah, a fair bit of confusion, too.
Definitely confusion.
It sounds simple on the surface, but the effects, anything but. We are talking, of course, about intermittent fasting.
That's right. And it's so important, like you said, to frame it correctly. This isn't just, another fad diet telling you what to eat or not eat. It's really an eating pattern. It's about when you eat. And there's some pretty fascinating science behind it.
So our mission today.
Yeah, our mission is to unpack that. What does it actually mean? Why should you care? And maybe, how could it work for you?
Exactly. We want to cut through the noise, pull out the facts from the fads, give you clear, actionable insights. We've gone through the research, the articles, the expert opinions.
Lots of reading.
Lots of reading.
Yeah.
And we're ready to lay it all out. So by the end of this, you'll feel really well informed about intermittent fasting.
And just a quick note before we really jump in, if you want to keep exploring clear, practical info on fitness, nutrition, wellness, topics like this one, remember bfit.ai. It's a great free resource full of reliable articles. Really good place to go after this deep dive if you want more.
Definitely check that out.
Okay,
so let's unpack this. Intermittent fasting, or IF, as people call it. It's not really a diet in the way we usually think of diets. Is it like you're not counting carbs all day or cutting out specific foods?
No, that's a really crucial point to start with. The fascinating thing about IF is, like we hinted, it's not primarily about what you eat. Though, don't get me wrong, food quality is still super important. We'll get to that.
Okay.
But fundamentally, it's about when. It's this pattern that cycles between periods of eating and, well, periods of voluntary fasting.
So like giving your digestion a break on a schedule.
Exactly. Think of it like that. Scheduled downtime for your digestive system. Unlike traditional diets focused on restricting certain foods or calories constantly, IF's main goal is to give the body time. Time to rest, time to repair itself, time to optimize things internally.
So it's more about timing strategy than food rules. That feels like a big shift.
It really is. And this timing is key because of what happens inside your body during those fasting periods. There's a really interesting metabolic shift.
Okay, tell me about that.
Well, normally your body runs on glucose sugar from the food you've recently eaten. That's its quick, easy energy source.
Right, carbs, basically.
Yeah, primarily. But when you fast for a certain period, your body uses up that readily available glucose, and then it needs energy from somewhere else, so it starts to switch gears. It begins to tap into your stored body fat and burn that for energy instead.
Ah, okay, so it flips a switch from burning sugar to burning fat.
Precisely. And that metabolic flexibility, that ability to efficiently switch fuel sources, is really central to many of IF's benefits. It's not about starving yourself. It's about teaching your body to use the energy it already has stored away more effectively.
You mentioned an analogy before we started recording about budgeting.
Oh, yeah. It's a bit like managing money, isn't it? You might not earn more or less, but by managing when you spend and when you save or invest, you optimize your finances. With IF, you're kind of managing your body's energy budget, optimizing when it uses fuel, encouraging it to access those fat stores, those deeper energy reserves.
That makes a lot of sense. Switching fuel tanks, managing the budget. Okay, I get the core idea. So, beyond just being a clever scheduling trick, where does it get really interesting? What are the actual science-backed benefits? Because like you said, everyone hears fasting and thinks weight loss.
Yeah, that's the immediate connection most people make.
But it sounds like there's much more going on under the hood.
There really is. And you're right to ask why bother, what's the payoff? The research is pretty compelling on several different fronts. And yes, it definitely goes way beyond just managing weight. It touches on metabolic health, how our cells function, even brain health. It's quite holistic.
Okay, but let's tackle the big one first, weight loss. It's the main reason many people try IF, right? So how does it actually work for that? Is it just that you eat less because the window is shorter? Or is that metabolic switch the real driver?
It's really a combination of both, typically. The shorter eating window often does lead to people eating fewer calories overall, just naturally. Less time to eat often means less eating. Simple as that sometimes.
Makes sense.
But the mechanism goes deeper. That metabolic switch we keep talking about, burning stored fat for energy during the fast. That's a very direct way it promotes fat loss. Studies have shown pretty consistently that IF can lead to something like a 3 to 8% reduction in weight over, say, 3 to 24 weeks.
That's quite significant.
It can be. And what's really important here is that it tends to help with fat loss specifically while helping to preserve lean muscle mass. That's a big difference from some traditional calorie-restricted diets where you can lose muscle too, which isn't great for your metabolism long term.
Right, you want to lose the fat, keep the muscle.
Exactly. Think back to that car analogy. When the main glucose tank is low, the body smartly switches to the reserve tank, your fat stores. IF helps make your body better and more efficient at using that reserve fuel. It becomes a better fat burner.
Okay, very clear. So it's not just about the scale, but changing the body's fuel preference. That sounds like a win. What about overall metabolic health? You mentioned that. That feels fundamental.
It absolutely is. It underpins so much. IF can give your metabolic health a real boost, primarily by improving something called insulin sensitivity.
Insulin, that's related to blood sugar, right?
Exactly. Insulin is the hormone that helps your cells take up glucose from your blood. When you become more sensitive to insulin, your cells respond better. They take up glucose more effectively. This helps keep your blood sugar levels stable.
It's good for preventing diabetes.
Precisely. Improved insulin sensitivity is crucial for managing blood sugar and significantly reducing the risk of type 2 diabetes. Plus, IF can also enhance the function of other hormones involved in metabolism, like certain fat-burning hormones. It just makes the whole system work more efficiently.
Okay, better blood sugar control, more efficient system. Got it. Now, you also mentioned something, autophagy. Sounds very technical.
It does sound a bit sci-fi, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Autophagy.
What is that?
Okay, so autophagy literally means self-eating. It sounds weird, but it's actually your body's natural, built-in cleanup crew. It's like a cellular spring cleaning process.
Cellular spring cleaning, okay.
Yeah. So during fasting periods, when your cells aren't busy processing incoming nutrients, they kind of turn inward. They start identifying and breaking down old, damaged, or dysfunctional parts within themselves. Think worn-out proteins, damaged organelles, junk, basically.
So they're tidying up.
They're tidying up, breaking down the junk, and then this is the cool part. They recycle those components into new, healthy cellular building blocks. It's like renovating a house. Clear out the old, broken stuff to make way for new, better stuff.
Wow. Okay. And why is that good?
Well, this process is thought to be really important for slowing down cellular aging, protecting against damage that accumulates over time. And there's a lot of research looking into its potential role in reducing the risk of various chronic diseases, things like neurodegenerative diseases, maybe even some cancers. It's fundamental cellular maintenance and rejuvenation.
That's incredible. Deep cleaning at the cellular level. Okay, mine's slightly blown. What about heart health? That's always a big concern. Can I have help there too?
Yes, that's another really important area. Heart disease is still a huge issue globally, right? The evidence suggests IF can help manage several key risk factors. Studies show it may help lower levels of LDL cholesterol, that's the bad kind, and triglycerides. It might also help reduce blood pressure and lower markers of systemic inflammation.
And inflammation is linked to lots of chronic issues, including heart problems.
Exactly. So by tackling these factors, cholesterol, blood pressure, inflammation, IF seems to contribute to better long-term cardiovascular health. It helps take some strain off the system.
So heart, cells, metabolism. What about the brain? You mentioned that briefly. Can fasting actually make your brain work better? It seems like you get foggy without constant fuel.
Yeah, it does seem a bit counterintuitive, doesn't it? But the brain health connection is really exciting. Fasting seems to potentially boost brain function, partly by increasing levels of a protein called BDNF.
BDNF.
Brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of it like fertilizer for your brain cells.
Okay, fertilizer for the brain. I like that.
It helps support the growth of new neurons, as neurogenesis, and it strengthens the connections between existing ones. Better neuroplasticity.
So, potentially better learning, memory, focus.
That's the idea. Potentially sharper thinking, clearer focus, maybe protection against age-related cognitive decline. It also helps reduce oxidative stress in the brain, which is like cellular rust, basically. So, yeah, potentially a more resilient, efficient brain.
Wow. Okay, the benefits are stacking up and they're pretty compelling. Fertilizer for the brain. I won't forget that one. But let's shift gears slightly. Let's not forget the practical side.
Oh,
For people with busy lives, there's got to be a convenience factor here too,
yeah.
right?
Oh, absolutely. Don't underestimate the power of convenience. This is a huge plus for many people.
How so?
Well, think about it. Planning fewer meals means less time spent grocery shopping, prepping food, cooking, cleaning up.
Less mental energy spent just thinking about the next meal.
Exactly. It simplifies your day, frees up time and mental bandwidth. For someone juggling work, family, everything else, reducing the number of meals they need to plan and execute can be a massive relief. That simplicity can make IF much more sustainable long-term compared to diets that require constant tracking or complex meal prep.
That's a really good point, the mental load reduction.
Yeah.
Okay, so the benefits are clear. Weight management, metabolic health, cellular cleanup, heart health, brain boost, and even just plain convenience. Sold. But intermittent fasting isn't just one single thing, is it? You mentioned patterns. What are the different ways people actually do this?
Right, exactly. It's not monolithic. That's where the flexibility comes in, which is great. There are several popular methods, and people can often find one that fits their lifestyle and preferences. It's definitely not one size fits all.
So what's the most common one? The one people usually start with?
Probably the 168 method. It's arguably the most popular and often the easiest entry point for beginners.
168, so 16 hours fasting, 8 hours eating.
You got it. Fast for a continuous 16 hours each day, and then consume all your calories within an 8-hour window.
Give me an example.
Okay, a super common way to do it is to finish dinner by, say, 8 p.m., then skip breakfast the next morning, and have your first meal of the day at 12 p.m. noon. So your eating window is 12 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Ah, okay, so basically just skipping breakfast or eating dinner earlier.
Pretty much. For many people, that fits reasonably well into their daily schedule. It feels less disruptive than some other methods, and that 16-hour fast is generally long enough to get you into that fat-burning state we talked about.
Seems manageable. What are some other options, maybe for people who find 168 doesn't quite work or want something different?
Sure. Another well-known one is the 5.2 diet.
5 days something, 2 days something else.
Exactly. You eat normally 5 days a week, whatever your usual intake is.
Hmm.
Then, on 2 non-consecutive days of the week.
Non-consecutive, okay. Important detail.
Very important. On those 2 days, you drastically reduce your calorie intake, typically down to about 500 or 600 calories for the entire day.
Wow, okay. So 2 very low-calorie days spread out through the week.
Right. Maybe just 2 small meals on those days. It's a different structure, focusing on calorie restriction only part-time.
Then I've heard of people doing full 24-hour fasts. Is that a thing?
Yes, that's often called eat, stop, eat. It involves doing a full 24-hour fast, usually once or twice a week.
How does that work practically?
You might, for example, finish dinner on Monday at 7 p.m. and then simply not eat anything again until dinner on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Just non-caloric drinks like water, tea, black coffee during that 24-hour period.
That sounds intense. Probably not for beginners.
Generally not recommended as a starting point, no. It requires a bit more adaptation, both physically and mentally.
Okay. Any others?
There's also alternate day fasting. This one is pretty much what it sounds like. You alternate between a fasting day, which usually means eating very little, maybe around 500 calories, similar to the 5.2 restricted days, in a normal eating day.
So every other day is a very low-calorie day.
Essentially, yes. Fast day, feast day, fast day, feast day. Again, this is considered quite demanding, and usually for more experienced fasters.
Definitely sounds challenging.
And finally, sometimes you'll hear the term time-restricted eating, or TRE. This is often used interchangeably with the 168, really. It just emphasizes consistently limiting your eating to a specific window each day, whatever that window might be, maybe 10 hours, maybe 8, maybe 12. The focus is on the consistent daily timing.
Okay, so a few different flavors of IF. Choosing one is the first step. But then, how do you actually start successfully? And maybe more importantly, what are the common mistakes, the tripwires people hit? Because it feels like you could mess this up easily.
Oh, absolutely. How you implement it is just as important as choosing the method. Mindful implementation is key, like any new habit, right? Strategy matters for success and, crucially, for making it sustainable.
So rule number 1.
Start gradually. Please don't just jump into a 24-hour fast if you've never done this before. That's like trying to run a marathon with zero training.
Recipe for disaster.
Totally. Start with something gentler. Maybe a 12-12 split, first 12 hours fasting, 12 hours eating. That could just mean stopping eating at 7 p.m. and not eating again until 7 a.m. Most people do that without thinking anyway.
Okay, get used to that first.
Yeah, let your body adapt for a few days, maybe a week, see how you feel. Then, if you're comfortable, maybe extend the fast by an hour. Go to 13 hours fasting, 11 eating. Then maybe 14-10. Slowly work your way up to 168 if that's your goal. Gradual adaptation makes it so much easier and more pleasant.
Makes sense. Ease into it. What else is crucial when starting?
Stay hydrated. We mentioned non-caloric drinks during the fast. Water, black coffee, plain tea.
That's super important, right?
Absolutely critical, especially during the fasting window. Dehydration can cause headaches, fatigue, make you feel hungry when you're actually just thirsty. So drink plenty of water throughout the day, both in your eating and fasting periods.
Okay, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Got it. Now, when the eating window's open, does it matter what you eat? Or is
Yeah.
it a free-for-all because you fasted?
Ugh, the million-dollar question. And the answer is, it absolutely matters. This is a huge misconception. Fasting is not a license to eat junk food or unlimited quantities during your eating window.
Knew it sounded too good to be true.
Haha, yeah. You really want to focus on nutrient-dense foods. When you break your fast, nourish your body. Prioritize protein helps with satiety, muscle maintenance, healthy fats for energy, hormones, and fiber from vegetables, fruits, whole grains for fullness and digestion.
So quality over quantity, even within the window.
Definitely. Avoid loading up on processed foods, sugary stuff, refined carbs that will just spike your insulin, lead to energy crashes, and kind of negate the benefits you're working towards. Fuel yourself well.
Okay, quality food. What else? How do you make it stick?
Plan around your lifestyle. This goes back to choosing the right method. Pick a schedule that actually works with your job, your family life, your social commitments. If you love big family breakfasts on weekends, maybe 168 starting at noon isn't ideal for you every day. Find a rhythm that integrates smoothly.
Make it fit your life, not the other way around.
Exactly. Sustainability is key. And maybe the most important tip of all, listen to your body.
How so?
Pay attention to the signals. Mild hunger is normal, especially when starting. But if you're feeling consistently lightheaded, dizzy, extremely fatigued, overly irritable, or having other concerning symptoms, that's your body saying, hey, this isn't working right now.
So don't just push through miserable side effects.
No. Adjust your schedule. Maybe shorten the fast, maybe look at the quality of food you're eating. And crucially, if you have any underlying health conditions or concerns, talk to your doctor or healthcare professional before you even start. That's non-negotiable.
Good advice. Start slow, hydrate, eat well, make it fit, listen to your body, and check with a pro. Seems like a solid plan.
Yeah.
Now let's flip it. What are the common mistakes? The ways people trip up?
Okay, pitfalls. Number one is probably overeating during the eating window. People think, I fasted, now I can feast.
Compensating for the fast.
Exactly. But if you consume more calories than your body needs in that shorter window, you won't see the weight loss benefits and you might even gain weight. You still need mindful, balanced meals. It's not magic.
Right. Calories still count, even with IF.
They do. The flip side is also a mistake. Not eating enough. Under-eating consistently.
How is that a problem? Isn't the point to restrict sometimes?
Yes, but during your eating window, you need adequate nutrition. If you restrict too much overall, you risk nutrient deficiencies, fatigue, muscle loss, feeling generally unwell. It can backfire, make you feel worse, not better. You need enough fuel and nutrients.
Okay, so finding that balance is key. Not too much, not too little.
Precisely. Another common one we already touched on, ignoring hydration. Seriously, people forget to drink enough water during the fast, feel awful, and blame the fasting itself when it might just be dehydration.
Easy fix, though. Just drink more water.
Usually, yes. Then there's choosing unhealthy foods when breaking the fast. You feel hungry, you grab the quickest, easiest thing, which is often processed, sugary, or fried.
And that causes that insulin spike you mentioned.
Right. It shocks the system, negates benefits, makes you feel sluggish. Break your fast wisely with balanced nutrients. And finally, echoing the first tip, starting too aggressively, trying a 24-hour fast on day one, or jumping straight into alternate day fasting. It often leads to headaches, extreme fatigue, feeling awful, and quitting before you even give it a chance. Gradual is the way.
Okay, those are really clear pitfalls to watch out for. Overeating, undereating, dehydration, poor food choices, and going too hard too fast.
Got it.
Now, sounds great for many, approached correctly. But you stress talking to a doctor. Are there specific groups who really need to be cautious, or maybe who should just avoid IF altogether?
Yes, absolutely. This is super important. While it's generally safe for healthy adults, IF is definitely not for everyone. And again, always consult a healthcare professional before starting, especially if you have any health issues. That personal advice is crucial.
So who specifically should pause or avoid it?
Okay, several groups. First, pregnant or breastfeeding women, absolutely not recommended. They have increased nutritional needs to support themselves and the baby's growth. Fasting is not appropriate or safe during this time.
Makes sense. Nutrient needs are paramount then.
Completely. Second, individuals with a history of eating disorders, anorexia, bulimia, binge eating disorder, any history. If fasting involves restriction, even if it's time restriction, and that can be a major trigger, potentially causing a relapse or worsening unhealthy patterns, it's just too risky.
Very important point. What about people with medical conditions?
Yes. Those with underlying health conditions, especially type 1 or type 2 diabetes, need to be extremely cautious. Fasting significantly impacts blood sugar and insulin. Doing it without close medical supervision can be dangerous, leading to hypo or hyperglycemia. So only under a doctor's strict guidance, if at all.
Okay, diabetes needs very careful management. Anyone else?
Also, people taking certain medications that need to be taken with food, or at specific times relative to meals like some blood pressure meds, thyroid meds maybe. Fasting could interfere with how those work. Again, a discussion with the doctor is essential. Basically, if you have any ongoing health issue or are on regular medication, isn't something to just try on your own. Professional guidance first.
That's crystal clear. Safety first, always. Okay, let's make this really practical now. We got the methods, the benefits, the tips, the cautions. Can you walk us through a sample day, say, for someone trying that popular 168 method, eating between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m., what might that look like?
Yeah, great idea. Putting it into a daily context makes it much less abstract. So 168, eating window, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m.
All right, so you wake up, say, 7 or 8 a.m.
Yep, so from waking up until 12 p.m. noon, you're in the fasting window. What do? Focus on hydration, drink water, maybe have a black coffee or some plain tea if you like, no calories.
Just riding out the morning, letting the body do its thing.
Exactly. You're letting that fat-burning process continue. Many people actually report feeling quite focused and clear-headed during this time once they adapt. You just skip breakfast.
Okay, noon hits. Time to eat. What's a good first meal?
You want to break the fast well. So, at 12 p.m., aim for a balanced, nutrient-dense meal. How about that grilled chicken salad we talked about? Lots of greens, maybe some quinoa, avocado, olive oil dressing, good portion of chicken.
Why is that a good choice again?
Protein from the chicken for satiety and muscle. Healthy fats from avocado and olive oil for energy and hormone health. Fiber and complex carbs from the greens and quinoa for sustained energy and fullness. It covers all the bases, refuels you gently, but effectively.
Sounds good. What about the afternoon? You just wait until dinner?
You could, but a planned snack can be helpful. Around 3 p.m. maybe, to bridge the gap and prevent getting overly hungry before dinner.
What kind of snack?
Something balanced, maybe a handful of almonds and a hard-boiled egg.
Simple, protein, and fat.
Yep.
Keeps energy stable, manages hunger, doesn't cause a big blood sugar swing.
Yeah.
Perfect mid-afternoon fuel.
Okay, then dinner. What time should that be and what's a good option?
Dinner should ideally be finished by 8 p.m. to close the window. So maybe eat around 7 p.m. Again, think balanced. Baked salmon is fantastic, omega-3s, protein. Pair it with some steamed broccoli vitamins, fiber, and maybe a portion of sweet potato for some healthy, complex carbs.
Nice. Salmon, broccoli, sweet potato. Wholesome meal.
Very. Provides sustained energy, lots of nutrients, supports recovery, and prepares you for the overnight fast.
And then at 8 p.m. sharp.
The eating window closes. You stop eating, start your next 16-hour fast. Back to water or herbal tea if you like, and that's the cycle.
That makes it very concrete. But you said it's flexible, right?
Totally flexible.
Mhm.
This is just one example. Someone else might prefer 2 larger meals within the 8 hours and no snack, or they might shift the window earlier, say 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The key is finding the 16 hours fasting, 8 hours eating pattern that works sustainably for you and your life while focusing on nutrient quality within that window. Got it. Adaptable template, not rigid rules. Okay, we've covered a ton, the what, why, how, the do's, the don'ts, the who needs to be careful. Stepping back, looking at the big picture, what does this all really mean for us beyond just scheduling meals? Is there a deeper takeaway?
I think there really is, connecting it to the bigger picture. Intermittent fasting, when you strip away the hype, isn't just about tweaking metabolism or losing weight. It's also, I think, an invitation.
An invitation to what?
An invitation to cultivate a deeper awareness of your own body, especially your hunger signals, to really learn the difference between, true physical hunger, your body needing fuel, versus habitual eating or maybe boredom eating or emotional eating.
Tuning in more to actual physical need.
Exactly. It prompts you to understand that difference. And it encourages you to realize how resourceful your body actually is, that it can tap into its own energy stores effectively. You don't necessarily need constant external fuel. In a way, it can foster a sense of maybe discipline or at least mindfulness around why and when you consume. It encourages a more thoughtful relationship with food, less reactive.
That's quite profound. It's not just a diet hack. It's potentially a way to change your entire relationship with food and your body's signals, becoming more attuned.
I think that's a huge part of the potential benefit for many people beyond the measurable stuff.
Well, this has been an incredibly insightful deep dive into intermittent fasting. Super clear now that it's this flexible, science-backed eating pattern. Lots of potential upsides, fat loss, metabolic health, maybe even that cellular cleanup and brain boost, as long as, and it is key, it's approached smartly and safely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Starting slow, hydrating well, focusing on those nutrient-dense foods during the eating window, those are crucial. If done right, it really can be a sustainable and, yeah, empowering part of a healthier lifestyle for many. It's about creating that space for your body to work optimally.
And listener, remember, if you want to dig even deeper or explore other fitness, nutrition, and wellness topics with clear, practical advice, do check out bfit.ai. It's a fantastic free resource, genuinely helpful stuff there.
It really is. Well, thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive today. I hope you found it helpful.
Yeah, we really hope you feel more informed, maybe more confident about IF, whether it's something you want to explore or just understand better. Until next time, stay curious, stay well.
Take care, everyone.
Bye for now.